mindless bigotry. It's not so very long ago that same sort of thing was being dished out to us. Think, go back to the days when our people landed in these shores, starving and with nothing. That's a story worth telling.
We leave Donegal, but we still hear the call of the lark in the clear blue sky, and the green fields we knew where the good potato grew. A curse on the day that it had to die, and curse what we now have to do. Our fields are all black, but there's no turning back. Evicted by force and the landlord's greed, for its hunger we flee as we cross the Irish Sea. And cross it we must if we're going to feed the baby, the good wife and me. In the hold of the ship there are sides of Belfast Ham, for sale to the Scots aristocracy.
This famine they call isn't famine at all. There's plenty of grain in the landlord's store, but he's told you and me we must cross the Irish Sea and find what we can on a foreign shore. It's famine by landlord's decree.
In the hold of the ship there are sides of Belfast Ham, for sale to the Scots aristocracy.
It's famine by landlord's decree.
In 1881, the population of Glasgow was over 500,000 persons, and of those, 45% lived in 2 rooms and 25% in 1-room houses. I place this statement before you and ask you to imagine yourselves with all your appetites and passions, your bodily necessities and functions, your feelings of modesty, your sense of propriety, your births, your sicknesses, your deaths, your children, in short, your entire lives, suddenly shrunken and shriveled into such conditions of space. Dr. Russell, Medical Officer of Health, Glasgow, 1886.
Compared to the years of the Great Hunger in the 40s and 50s, the flood of enforced immigration from Ireland had abated, but still, in the past 10 years, over 50,000 had crossed the Irish Sea to Scotland in starving conditions. And when they landed up in the east end of Glasgow, as so many of them were bound to do, what did these simple, rural people find? A bewildering array of works. But what was even more bewildering to the immigrant than the number and variety of all these works is how they could produce such wealth in the west end of the city and such poverty in the east end. For the emigrants had nothing to fall back on in troubled times. Is it any wonder they turned to the Protestant soup kitchens? And there they received temporary succor for their bodies by putting their souls in permanent peril. A bowl of soup for the reading of a religious tract. Small price to pay, you might say, but their church must not fail them. Ways must be found to feed the little ones.
For God's sake, give us a break. Before I slip my wrist.
That's terrible, Auntie Annie. Our family must have felt like aliens when they landed here in Glasgow.
Oh, aye, son. I mean, they'd come all the way from Donegal. You are talking the land of the hand-knitted Arganses, you know. But I mean, it wasn't all doom and gloom. There was always the odd ray of sunshine, a
wee bit of crack and a wee bit of cheap entertainment.
Aye, but what about the football?
Oh, hold your horses, son. Before the football, there was the music hall.
I knocked a hole in my can for knocking a hole in me can. My can knew me can was good. I only had it a day or two. I lent my can to fetch a pint of stout. My can came rolling out to say me can was running out. Now, this is the music hall. You're supposed to be joining in with me. Maestro, can I have the words now, please?
Certainly.
Hello, up there on the top shelf. Are you ready? And how about the middle classes in the circle? Are you ready? And of course, I'm not forgetting the unemployed downstairs. Are you ready? Maestro, if you please.
Certainly.
I'll knock a hole in my can for knocking a hole in me can. My can knew me cans. I only had it a day or two. I lent my can to fetch a pint of stout. My can came rolling out to say me can was running out. My can came rolling out to say me can was running out. Oi!
So, gentlemen, I give you a toast to the victors of the Scottish Cup Final 1887. I give you Edinburgh Hibernian.
Edinburgh Hibernian.
Mr. John McFadden.
Mr. Glass, Brother Walfred, Dr. Conway, gentlemen, thank you for your generous hospitality. Today has been a magnificent day for Hibernians.
Hear, 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 hear.
Hibs was founded only 12 years ago by Canon Edward Hannon, and our victory today over Dumbarton is the culmination of a struggle which has not always been easy. As you know, a strict adherence to Catholic principles is written into the constitution of our club. Indeed, on occasion, we have even been forced to omit players from the team for non-attendance at Mass. Of course, all those with the usual prejudices against the Irish have seized on this as proof that we are not a Scottish club. Today, we have proved not only that we are a Scottish club, but currently, we are the best Scottish club.
Hear, hear, hear.
Now, I urge you, here in the Carlton, to follow the example of our founder and go and do likewise.
Hear, hear, hear. Well said. Of course, Brother Walfred, the love of a good argument has always been an Irish characteristic.
I couldn't agree with you there. But when it came to raising a team, the parish of St. Alphonsus couldn't agree with the parish in St. Andrews on the best way to go about it. And St. Andrews were at odds with St. Mary's, who in turn disagreed with St. Alphonsus.
Aye, let's just say St. Mary's took the lead and the rest fell by the wayside.
Yeah. Then there was the question of drink.
The curse of a benighted people.
So speaks John Glass, the true voice and chairman of St. Mary's Total Abstinence Society.
There are men in the Carlton who will offer to buy the wife her sixpenny ration of meat and take the halfpenny change and a glass of whiskey from the rascal who calls himself a butcher but is more truthfully a publican.
At the first meeting, there were 5 publicans and only 1 glass.
All good men in other respects.
Oh, yes, John, sure. But didn't the Lord himself turn the water into wine at the marriage at Canaan?
Aye, and didn't the publican turn the wine into silver in the Carlton?
The other ticklish problem was this. Should we admit only Catholics to play for the team?
Wolfe Tone was a Protestant. Robert Emmett was a Protestant. Charles Stewart Purnell is a Protestant. There isn't one of them I wouldn't play in my team tomorrow.
And there's no denying there are some handy players who don't kick with the left foot.
By Hibernians, it's the obvious choice.
Too like Edinburgh, and we may be confused with Cambuslang Hibernians.
Well, there's no shortage of good Irish names. Harp, Shamrock, St. Patrick.
I still
Emmett.
say Hibernians. Glasgow Hibernians. There can be no confusion about that. They'll know who we are and they'll know what we stand for.
Begging your pardon, Doctor, but I have a fear that Hibernian